We want to thank the Lieutenant Governor for joining us to talk about this new Parental Notification Act. Lieutenant Governor, you created these 3 steps that you want social media companies to do first before a kid can open an account. They're pretty elaborate, but what's the real reason behind this?
Well, the real reason behind it is our children are suffering. They're suffering from mental health issues. As the governor said in the State of the State, he quoted Desmond Tutu, who said, "We keep pulling bodies out of the water. We need to look upstream to find the cause." Well, the cause of many of the mental health issues and challenges our children are facing are directly as a result of social media and technology in their lives. Algorithms that are very harmful to them, content that's very harmful to them, data being collected on them, and it's time that we step up and do more about it.
You know, we talked about this, once we learned about this coming and being part of this year's budget. As a parent, we have questions because we know a lot of kids out there, they will open accounts because they lie about their age or what have you. So you have this verification process that it's a little lengthy, right? And it requires parents signing the splash page consent and then verifying who they are, emails going back and forth. What is stopping a kid from saying, "Hey, Johnny, pretend you're my dad"?
Well, it's a tough thing to get at. It really is. And what we believe will happen is that with the process we've designed is that the children sign on, their parents have to validate, you have to put in addresses and all of that kind of information. Then the social media company is required to send those parents to that address a letter validating that they know their children has signed up for this account. Like any law, there are ways certainly that you could find a way around it, but we're really just trying to empower parents to create more parental awareness about what's going on with their children, to get parents involved at perhaps denying this or putting filters that have limitations on the content that they're receiving. And we believe that this is a good first step. But I hope it just starts a conversation in this state about more. What more can we do to help children? What more can we do to fight back against the harmful effects of social media? This law, this bill is a good start, but I hope it is just the start of this conversation and to figure out how both we can empower parents and how the government needs to be involved in creating a safer environment for our children.
Can I pick up on that and have you talk about the companies? What kind of feedback or buy-in do you anticipate or have you already received?
Well, the companies know that this is harmful, but they're making billions of dollars off of it, and right now doing very little to protect our children. And I expect that there will be some companies that will push back, but I hope that they will embrace the recognition that they have a responsibility in this, that it's harmful for our children, and we invite them into this legislative process to offer alternatives and how we all can get better at this. But they need to be forced to the table. This will force them to the table.
You say they should have some responsibility in this. So how can this be enforced? Will the state have any power with this proposal that they could go after social media companies, or does this kind of fall on the parent to kind of self-police?
No, the state can take action against the companies if they don't comply with what they're being asked to do. There could be both eventually legal and civil ramifications for them if they don't do it. We know this is causing harm to our children. You take the fastest growing social media app, TikTok. The algorithm is designed to addict you. It's designed to prey on your weaknesses. And these are children we're talking about. We're not talking about adults here. We're talking about children under the age of 16. Parents need to know. They need to give approval before this ends up on their children's phones or devices. In the past weekend, we were all obsessing over this balloon that went over America, and what information did China collect? Well, Chinese-owned companies own TikTok, and TikTok is gathering data on you and your children every day if you have that app. Far more intrusive than any balloon going over, but yet we're not having conversations about that. This is very harmful. These are very harmful algorithms. They addict your children, they collect data on them, and it's time that we get more aggressive and have conversations about how we're going to protect our kids.
There are plenty of American companies that are collecting our data as well, too. So where do we draw the line with social media versus like a search engine? How far does this proposal go?
We're focused on children under the age of 16, social media apps, and some gaming platforms, because that's where the problem lies. We're not talking about e-commerce or other things like that. We're trying to very narrowly tailor this. And the evidence, this is not a debate on whether it's harmful. It is harmful.
Right.
It is, the evidence is very clear that it's harmful. Now it's time to step up and figure out how we're going to empower parents and how we're going to create a safer environment for all of us to operate.
Is there an education piece or empowerment piece for parents? Because I hate to say this, but our kids are a little bit smarter than we are when it comes to technology.
Just a smidge.
Mama knows everything but except that. And you know, is there something for parents? Is there a part of this that parents need to educate themselves on instead of saying, it's just social media?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be posting tools for children or for parents to filter and to block and to protect against and give them more information about what their children are doing online. There are a lot of helpful resources on this. We're going to post these and make these available for families, and we'll give them to you, and you can share them as well.
I know a lot of kids out there, right? They hide their passwords from their parents like it's gold. And as a parent, sometimes you're like, as a parent, I should be able to tap into your account, whatever. We can get into argument a whole other day about privacy rights of your child, but a lot of parents say, well, what if there is harm happening to my child on social media? I can't get into that account. Will this Parent Notification Act, the fact that I've signed consent knowingly, does this now allow me to have access to my child's account?
So if you bought the phone, you have control of it. You're the one paying the bills. You need to step up and say to your children, no, I have access to your phone. I have access to your password. I have access to your settings. It's all going through me. And these helpful tools will hopefully empower maybe that less tech-savvy parent to have the ability to fight back. It does require that parents and guardians engage in protecting their children on this. It is not easy, but we're going to try to make it easier. We're going to help parents. That's what we're here. That's what this is about, what those resources are for. But don't be your children's friend. Be their parent. Protect them by getting access and getting control of what's going on in their social media world.
Well, this certainly is, like you said, the first step. You're introducing this as part of the new budget that's coming down the pike, and so we have many more layers. It has to go through the legislature, so on and so forth, with hearings too.
Absolutely. We want the hearings. We hope that more parents will come forward to talk about how this is harming their children, and we hope that the tech community will come forward on how we can protect against the harmful aspects of social media to give parents more control over what's happening in their children's lives. So we want a conversation. This will become law if we get it through on June the 30th. So between now and June the 30th, come forward, tell your stories. We know what's happening with extortion schemes and things like that that are occurring where children get talked into doing things and then are just terrible things are coming, suicides, all kinds of things that are coming as a result of these schemes that are going on in social media and online. And we just need to help more families talk about this, about what's happening. And when parents come forward and they tell the stories, think about this. You wouldn't let a stranger into your house to have a private conversation with your child in their room, but that's happening if you're not in control of their social media because strangers are getting access to them through these apps.
So this seems, in my opinion, I'll give my opinion here, to be a bipartisan kind of effort. It should be. We're talking about our children.
Well, absolutely. It's whether no matter what political stripe you have, we all care about our kids.
Sure.
And there are a lot of things sometimes we disagree about how we should care for kids. I don't know anybody that thinks that this is something that parents should stay out of. That we have no business in knowing what's going on in our children's lives and their social media. Of course they do, but I just don't think a lot of parents know how to act. They don't feel like they have control. It's so much a part of the culture of our young people, and we have to take back control of what's happening there.
So this is giving it a little teeth, so to speak.
Absolutely. And I hope this is the beginning. I think there probably needs to be more than just what we're talking about. But we got to open that conversation. We've got to force these companies to the table. They're making money off of our kids. They're collecting data on them. They're putting harmful, addictive algorithms on there and not doing anything in return to protect them. They need to step up and be responsible. We have a history in America of making that happen, whether it's been with cigarettes or other types of harmful products. Once we realize that they're harmful, you got to do something about it. We know these products are harmful. We have to do something about it.
Lieutenant Governor, thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.